everyone. I'm Dan Albers, and welcome to This Week in Anderson on the Big Eye Sports Podcast. And I'm joined, as always, with my co-host, Steve Ellis. And Steve, I'll tell you what, man, I'm really, really pumped and excited for our next guest. I know you and I hate to say this to Wildman, but we were younger, and we used to listen to Wildman on our way to school and on WEBN, and really cool to have Wildman Walker joining us, isn't it?
It is, Danny. I'm excited for it too. I mean, his love of Cincinnati and the sports, just like you and I, and obviously, for Pete Rose. So let's get into this.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Wildman joining us, as I said, is Wildman Walker. Wildman, thanks for joining us tonight.
No problem. Glad to talk to you guys.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. So we kind of want to go back, and Steve and I were trying to figure this out. We weren't sure ourselves. We know that obviously we're Anderson guys. You went to Anderson. Kind of bring us back to where you lived in Anderson, and kind of talk about like maybe and also the year that you graduated from Anderson.
Well, we moved from Norwood, my parents and I, and my two brothers and sisters in 1959 to Anderson Township, which was then just a 2-lane road. The only restaurant on that road at that time was Frisch's. Okay.
Wow.
And technically, I lived in Cherry Grove. It was really, before it was Anderson Township, it was Forestville. That's what they called it, Forestville. And then beyond that was Cherry Grove. And I lived by that. Do we know where the water tower is? Farther up Beachmont? I lived on Pamela Drive.
Sure. Yeah.
I lived on Pamela Drive. So we moved out there in 59. I went to Immaculate Heart of Mary grade school. That was torture for 4 years. The nuns are not nice people. And then I said, I'm not going to McNicholas because there might have nuns there. Me and the nuns aren't going to get along. So I was going to Anderson, and the majority of my class, which was like 57 kids, the majority of the class all went to Anderson also.
Wow.
So I graduated from Anderson in 69, which ironically is Pete Rose's greatest year as a baseball player.
And there it is. The first
knew,
reference.
Yeah, we knew it wouldn't take long for the Pete Rose references to come in. But, talk about that, too, because you said it was a 2-lane road. And what was it like back in the day in Beachmont? Because I know the mall was just kind of starting to come around and all that. But
you want me to tell you how it was? You could ride your bike up and down Beachmont, man. Try that now. You won't get 0.3 of a mile. You'll be dead.
Yeah.
Wow. No kidding.
Yeah. And of course, there was a movie theater, a drive-in, up past was up on the left. It was right past. You remember where the old Service Merchandise used to be?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the old Forest Auto Drive-In, and there was a putt-putt golf course right next to it that I worked for like 2 years there. Prior to that, I was always down there hustling guys, playing miniature golf for money. And we had a deal with the Forest Auto theater guys. We'd let them play for free, and they let us in the movies for free.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, and there's still one thing left of the Forest Auto Drive-In, believe it or not. You know where the park and ride is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a guardrail that runs all the way down. That was the guardrail leading into the Forest Auto Drive-In.
No.
The guardrail's still there.
Wow.
Every time I'm out there, I always look for that. It's still there.
Now, wasn't there a Arthur Treacher's or something like that out front there?
That was a Sandy's.
A Sandy's, nice. That's
Sandy's,
right.
oh, great hamburgers. The high-low. I ate so many damn high-lows. I would send one of my minions there to get me a high-low, an order of fries, and a Coke. Because it was right in front of the putt-putt golf course.
So did you also work in the mall too?
Yeah, well, my first job was Claremont Springs Dairy, which was right up there on Beachmont.
You could walk there.
I could, but we used to ride my bike up until.
Yeah.
So I'd ride my bike up, and then that was when I was 16, and they made their own ice cream and bottled their own milk and everything back in the day.
Wow.
And my second job was Arby's, which was still at the same location, even though it's been remodeled, but the sign's still there.
Yep.
That was Arby's. Then I worked at Putt Putt, and then I got a job years later at the Beachmont Mall, like in 1981, where I worked in the Woolworth store.
Okay.
And the Woolworth store, I was the sporting goods manager. And, man, we had a great sporting goods department. I mean, we had it all. Hunting, fishing gear, rifles, shotguns, ammunition, hockey sticks, bicycles, you name it, we had it. We had everything but handguns. They had just got out of the handgun business when I started. Otherwise, I probably would have bought 10 of them because they were giving them away at bargain basement prices. Damn it. It's like a week.
Unbelievable.
I was a week late, I think. I'm getting it. I could have got a handgun.
That is funny stuff.
So.
But I've got a handgun. But I've got a handgun now. Did you see my handgun?
And there it is.
My 38 special, baby. It's locked and loaded.
And we're not talking about the group.
A buddy of mine bought this for me for my 70th birthday.
That is great.
Yeah, I got 6 boxes of ammo too.
That looks heavy.
Hey,
Oh, this thing is hammerless too. So all you do is pull the trigger, and it takes it. You got to pull on the trigger, but that's really why it's the safety. So,
Right.
but it's it doesn't have much kick at all.
so you're ready to go, man. You're locked and ready.
Well, with all the nut jobs out there now, sitting here right on my table next to my recliner, baby.
Yes, sir.
That's good.
Where you
Arms
typically
reach.
watch your Andy Griffith, right?
That's right. My arms reach.
So, Wildman, let's go back to when you started on the radio with EBN. Tell us how all that started and how long you were there.
Well, it started really in 1983, or I should probably say 80. I think it was 81. I met a DJ by the name of Michael Luzak and the program director Denton Marr down on the third base side at the rail. Just a buddy of mine pointed out to him that it was Michael Luzak. Well, me and Luzak used to talk when I was at Woolworths about the Jay Giles band, and he was from Cleveland, and I grew up a Cleveland Browns fan, when I was younger. So we kind of hit it off. So I went over and introduced myself, and we just started talking. And then I started talking about the Reds and whatnot. And he goes, we've been looking for a guy like you. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, well, a radio station in Columbus hired this bartender to come in and, make some comments. I said, well, you don't have to look any further, man. You're talking to the guy. I've seen it all. I've seen the Royals, the Bengals, the Stingers, whatnot. So a couple of things went on, kind of drifted away. And to make a long story short, I ran into him in, I think it was June of '83, because I was down there collecting money to fly this banner over the stadium in defiance of Dick Wagner, because they wouldn't let me put up any Pete Rose banners. They would always take them down, the Gestapo Park Police. So I figured, what, I'm going to fly a banner. They can't do nothing there. Well, Luzak walked up and said, what are you doing? I said, I'm collecting money here for the Pete Rose Airplane Fund. I said, I only need like $20 more. He goes, well, let me know when you get this. So I collected the money really quick, called him. He said, here, I need you to talk to Rick Bird. So Rick interviews me the Friday before the banner was going to fly. Okay. And it aired on Saturday. The Phillies were in town, of course. Pete Rose on that Saturday night went 4 for 5, but the Phillies lost that game. On Monday, which was odd, the Phillies were in town for a 4-game series. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yeah.
I'm at Woolworths. Phone rings around 11:30. And I had to go over to the service desk because I didn't have a phone at in the sporting goods department, because they took it out because I was always calling Luzak and stuff. So they took the phone out. But then we figured out a way how to dial the phone by using the receiver. And I could use the receiver, to dial it, to knock it down, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could dial it. I figured it out. But I went over to the service desk, and I picked up the phone. I said, hello. And he says, Wildman, this is Luzak. I go, yeah. He goes, did you hear the news? I said, no, what? He goes, you got Dick Wagner fired. I said, really? He goes, yeah. I go, well, son of a bitch. Well, the next thing you know, we've only got 2 lines in Woolworths, and they're going off back to back, wanting to talk to me. Channel 9 was calling me. A newspaper place was trying to get a hold of me to get my comments. So I was, I said, well, look, I got to get back to work, and I'll call you guys back after I get off work. Well, one thing led to another, and I went back, and EBN brought me in, and they really didn't know what to do with me at first. And they said, well, what we want you to do is, cover the Bengal games this year for us. And my first assignment was Johnny Bench night. Well, see, I was selling programs on the side in 1983. And so I worked Johnny Bench night, but I sold programs before the game started. There was like 54,000 there.
Yeah.
I sold 1,200 programs that night, and the most ever in that place's history.
Wow.
I could have sold 2,000 programs. Well, I was counting the money because I had a box of singles when Bench hit that home run. So I missed the home run. So I come up, and I went down to the locker room after the game to get comments from bench, and then I would bring them over to them, and I would play the comments Monday morning, because they're only on the air, the morning show at Monday through Friday.
Right.
So I go into the Reds clubhouse, and the first person I see walking in the Reds clubhouse is Reds equipment manager Bernie Stowe, who I've known like since 1968. And his eyes, were wide as saucers. He goes, "What are you doing in here?" I said, "I'm working for EBN." He goes, "Okay," and walked off. So they're all milling around bench, and I finally wheezed and got in there with my mic and got some comments, and I'm just kind of hanging out in there because I was just, friends with Bernie, just wanted to hang out with Bernie and drink some beer after everybody was gone. Well, Bernie was over by the mirror where Bench was putting on his jacket or shirt and was fixing his collar, and I heard Bench say to Bernie, "Who's that asshole with the Pete Rose shirt on?" Because I had a Pete Rose shirt.
Wow.
And I thought to myself, really, man, don't think I'll ever forget that.
Wow.
And so I take the stuff back, and between 1983 and 84 and 85, I was at the right place at the right time because Rick Byrd and Craig Cobb, who was the news director, their wives were having babies at the time. So they weren't able to get out and cover anything. So here I was, even though I was doing it for free, I was available, and I was more than willing to go to a press conference or whatnot. I didn't care.
Yeah.
And I was getting my foot in the door. Well, in 85, in July of 85, Rick Byrd gave me the news, ironically, where it should be at Riverfront Stadium. He said, "They're going to put you on the morning show." And I thought, morning show? Man, that's, I got to get up that early. I'm not a morning person, man. I was hoping to be on in the afternoon. But I said, okay. And like a couple of days before I was going to go on the air, this is when we were in Hyde Park. I'm walking up the steps, getting ready to walk up the other set of flight of steps, but I had to go by the GM's office, Frank Wood Jr. He said, "Hey, Wildman, come in here a second." He said, "You've been bugging us for 2 years to work for us, so we're giving you your chance." I said, "Just give me the ball, coach. I'll run with it."
Nice.
And away I did.
Nice.
That's a great story, man.
That is great.
In fact, Frank Wood Jr. is writing the foreword to my book, which will be out by the end of the month, hopefully.
Oh, you're doing
Oh,
a book?
nice.
Yeah, doing a book. It'll be 14 chapters.
Of course. There's that number.
Hopefully 350 pages, but a lot of pictures. And we're on chapter number 10 right now, the Bengals.
Oh,
What's the name of the book?
Just Wild Man.
Okay.
And the cover is me holding up the second Kelly Cup trophy on the ice. When the Cyclones won the second Kelly Cup trophy.
Nice.
That is cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I have to look forward to that.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have a couple book signings and it'll be available online, 1995.
All right, I love it. I'm surprised it wasn't 1492 or 14, something.
What's that?
4192, something, something with Pete, I would imagine.
Oh, well, the Pete Rose chapter's got all the 14 references, like Pete Edward Rose. How many letters? 14. How many letters in Cincinnati Reds? 14.
Oh, wow.
When did he start his hitting streak? July 14th, 1978. How many bathrooms are there, and how many men's rooms are there at Great American Ballpark? 14.
Listen to you. You kill
How
me.
many bats in the smokestacks? 14.
Unbelievable.
Pete Rose were number 27 in spring training in 1963. 2 times 7, 14.
Oh, my God. Listen to you.
How many runs did the Reds score against the Astros in 1989 in the first inning? Major League record, 14. How many questions you got to answer to win $1 million, and who wants to be a millionaire? 14.
Routine.
How many months did it take for Bruce Springsteen to record Born to Run, his best album ever? 14.
Listen to you, man.
What a wide variety.
Oh, yeah, all over. Yeah, definitely a wide variety.
Well, that's awesome. So talk about the morning show days, because that was a wild time, because that's when we would listen, and it was just it was like the #1 show, and you were a part of that.
We were reminiscing about that about 2 weeks ago when me and Bob, the producer, were on with Eddie at 700 WLW off the air. And even on the other stuff, we there's no way we could get away with that stuff today, not in this politically correct society.
Right.
I mean, the stuff that went on the air and the stuff that was said off the air, oh my God. And we were lucky. They pretty much, let us do what we wanted to do. They didn't reel us in hardly at all.
I think you guys were Howard Stern before Howard Stern.
Yes, we were. Yes. Yes. I mean, and you still hear the comments from people, you know, I wish you guys were back on the air. I don't listen to EBN. I always say, well, nobody with a brain does today because the music stinks. Rock and roll music is terrible these days.
Right.
And everything is just, you know, we got to be politically correct.
You know,
That would be, we had the time of our lives there. We really did. I mean, there wasn't a day that I didn't enjoy going into work. I mean, when I was on vacation or something, it didn't matter. But if I was sick or something, I felt like I was missing something.
yeah.
That, you know, I wanted to be in there.
Right.
You know, one of the ones I remember that you guys did was that the pregnant bikini contest.
Oh yeah, we did that every year down at Hooters. Yeah, Dan. Yeah. Oh, there'd be guys down there at 4 o'clock in the morning drinking. You know, by 10 o'clock, everybody was bombed when they left there. And then Hooters started wanting to be politically correct, so they got away from it. Why would you turn down that money? That was all the people, everybody made money that day at Hooters.
Absolutely.
That made no sense either.
You guys did a lot of stuff that I remember, obviously the EBN fireworks and all that, but one thing that I really, really remember that sticks out in my mind, and I know Steve does too, is the Billboard.
Here it comes.
The Billboard with the Bengals.
61 days, sir. 61 days, and that is a chapter itself in the book. In fact, I went out to Milan, Indiana this last year to be up on the roof with the guy that was staying up until the Bengals won. Really nice guy called the Hog Rock Cafe. Great food, man. Yeah. I think I got a free meal anytime I want to go out. And in fact, he already said, you need to come out here and do a book signing. He goes, you'll sell 50 books at least out here.
Yeah.
But 61 days. I mean, and I even say it in the book, Dan, that next to the fireworks, the second greatest promotion in the history of WEBN was me being on the Billboard, hands down.
Yeah.
I mean, people still ask me today. We're talking 30 years later, you know?
Yeah.
And there's a chance that I might do the Billboard next year, which will be 30 years.
Wow.
We've got a building. It's down off of Hopple Street, headed into downtown. We just got to find out is there a way to get to the roof? And then, then we'll worry about that. But I'm not doing it for God and country. We will have probably a GoFundMe page, because you think I'm going up there for free. That ain't happening. But we have secured the building if we want. We just got to look at the logistics, and work out that kind of stuff.
That's a really cool idea, man. I can't wait for you to do that. Maybe I'll come. Maybe Steve and I will come and visit and do a re-podcast.
We could do one there. Yeah. I mean, we're going to approach WEBN, but I doubt if they want to be part of it. So if not, we'll approach B105, because they were all over it with the guy out in Milan, Indiana.
Yeah.
So we'll give EBN do you want to do this, again? And if they don't want to do it, well, then that's their loss.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, man.
Well, I mean, some of the jobs you've had over the years that we've all admired is announcing for some of the local sports teams, not just high school, but football and basketball and hockey. And, I think you've done the Cyclones and the Slammers back in the day. And who are some of the teams that you've announced?
Moose Campbell, baby. Moose Campbell,
baby.
Moose Campbell, greatest slammer ever. Thank you very much. Well, my first PA job was the NKU Lady Norse.
Okay,
I did them 1 year. Then I did the men and the girls. And I did that for like 3 years. Then the Cyclones came to town. And I did the Cyclones for 20 years. And then I didn't do the Slammers. Because we were busy, just raising hell behind the opposing team bench. Which was great. And then I did. Oh God, what am I missing here?
Was it the Rockers?
Yes, I did do the Rockers. Yeah, the 2 years they were here, I did the Rockers. I did 2 preseason NBA games, but one of them with the Celtics, and I got to introduce Larry Bird, which was great. That's nice. Then there was one at the Gardens, where it was the Pacers and somebody else. And so I did 2 preseason NBA games. And then I did the Silverbacks for 2.5 years.
That's right.
Which was the indoor soccer team.
Yeah.
And then I did 7. I'm still doing 7 Hills. That started in 2016. And I'm doing then I did Anderson football. Yep. And I did some girls basketball, and I did some boys soccer. And then, of course, the Redskins nickname change, well, I had to stick to my guns.
Yeah.
And then I get a call from Brian Phelps, who's the AD at Indian Hill, who I worked for at Seven Hills. Well, he came back from Texas and took the job, and I knew he was going to call me. He said, "You want to do football for me?" I said, "Well, yeah, I'll do football for you. You're 5 miles away."
Yeah.
Well, I've already done football, and I'm going to be doing basketball for Indian Hill.
Good.
Oh,
So,
great.
Indian Hill is 5 miles away. Seven Hills is 3 miles away.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect. It really is. It really is.
That's awesome.
And Brian of Indian Hill and Scott, the AD at Seven Hills, they're great guys to work for. And Chris Newton was a super guy. In fact, he felt really bad when I told him I'm going to be stepping down. He goes, "I understand your position." He goes, "I really do. I understand your position." He said, "But keep in touch." He sent me a message a couple of weeks ago, wondering how I was doing. He's a great dude, man.
He's the best.
He is unbelievable. We said on this podcast, and actually he was one of our first ones that we interviewed, and hands down, he's one of the best and he cares about everybody, and just like
he does.
He
knows them all too. He knows them all by name. It's amazing.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yep. So
and maybe it'll work out someday down the road. Maybe they'll see the error of their ways. What is the latest? What is the latest on the nickname change?
They're going through the thing of trying to figure out what they're going to name it. They, I guess, put out a survey, and I don't know what that's gonna do. It might just tell everybody that they still want to have that name.
When I talked to him, this was right when I told him I was stepping down. I said, "Well, hell, Chris," I said, "I mean, your boys, grew up as Redskins." He goes, "You tell me about it." He goes, "Nobody here is happy."
Yeah.
At the house, but he had to told the company line, which I understand, but his boys have got to be just outrageous.
Yep.
Outraged, I should say. Yeah.
I think a lot of people are having more than they know, are having a tough time. I know that I have, and I, had to have my wife set me straight a couple times to get me back, and
right.
So, but anyway.
So that's where we're at there with PA. But look at all those PA. And in fact, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I started counting up how many games I've done, and my son said, "Dad, you got to be close to over 1,000." So I started looking the other day, and then I'm at like 841, but I haven't counted the Seven Hills games yet. So we were talking 4 years, and so I might be getting close to 1,000 games.
That's incredible, man. You got to put that in your book.
I know. That'll be the last chapter. Wildman today.
Yeah.
Wildman today. Yeah.
That'll be good.
So Wildman, let's cut to the chase here. Let's talk about the reason why you're on here is about your love and my love for Pete Rose, and how all that started, and why you feel that way. And obviously we're all in agreement where he belongs. But how did that all start with you and your admiration for Pete?
Well, I made it. I mentioned in the book my first interaction with Pete, or when getting an autograph, was June 6, 1964. I remember getting it on the scorecard. They played the Cardinals, and I had that scorecard for a long time. But I've unloaded a lot of stuff, and I just like the way Pete played. In fact, I mentioned in the book, look, my admiration for Pete Rose was as a baseball player. His drive, his determination, wanting to win. That's why I named my son after him. I could care less about his personal life. Right. That doesn't even enter into it. As a baseball player, I'm lucky I got to see a guy like that. And so many players, should be like him. I mean, he never took a day off. He wanted to play every day. And you're never going to. There's not going to be a player like that to come along. We'll all be gone, dead and gone.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a 5-time All-Star at 5 different positions.
Yeah.
That'll never happen.
No.
Never. And his records and whatnot. But as a baseball player, man, the guy came to play every day and gave 120% every game.
We all grew up, trying to imitate him, and that was just how hard he played, and just the blue collar that he did and everything. Heck, I got 2 dogs, Wildman. One's a girl, one's a boy, and the girl dog is named Rosie, and the boy dog's name's Charlie.
Okay.
Charlie Hustle.
Well, when I was married, we had a dog. We adopted a dog, and we called her Rosie.
Nice.
Yeah, her name was Rosie. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
But I mentioned it, in the book about Pete, and I lost my train of thought about the Hall of Fame and that. really, and I think you'll agree with me. I'm over it. I'm not going to get all worked up that he's not. I mean, today when I hear that Joey Cora is going to be rehired by the Red Sox, that's a crock. And Rob Manfred, can I say Rob Manfred sucks balls? Well, I just did.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's so sad, that baseball is leaving Pete the twist in the wind, and they let cheaters, blatant out cheaters, back in. Joey Cora and A.J. Hinch. It's a joke. But I look at it this way. The Reds have retired Pete's number. They have a statue of him, and he's in the Reds Hall of Fame. I'm good with that.
Yeah, and I was there, and I don't think it gets any better than that. I mean, because that probably means more to Pete than anything else.
Yeah, that weekend was awesome. It really was.
We were there every day, weren't we, Danny? We were there.
Yeah, that was great. It was a great time, and got goosebumps. And
I didn't see you guys there. I was there.
Yeah, we were there. We were there.
Only 35,000 or so, whatever.
Yeah, I was in the VIP section for the unveiling of the statue, which was really cool.
Nice.
At the Reds Hall of Fame. Because, see, I'm a lifetime member. When they had the Pete Rose exhibit, did you ever see the Pete Rose exhibit?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Did you see all the Sports Illustrateds that were there?
Yes.
Those were mine.
No.
Yeah, those are my
Really?
Sports Illustrated. So for donating them, they gave me a lifetime pass.
How about
So
that?
I get all the bobbleheads and everything if I want them.
Hey,
That's strong.
Hey, well, just keep that in mind when you go back to the VIP section when they open everything up. Your two pals here, Dan and Steve. Think about that.
Yeah, those Sports Illustrated, they were mine. Yeah.
That's
And then
awesome.
they had a little brochure that they passed out too, and it said special thanks, and it listed all the people they thanked, and it had my name in the brochure too.
That is cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, it sure was.
So wow, man, let's talk about some. I know it could be hard, it might not be hard. I have no idea. But what was your favorite sporting event while you were, as at EBN or whatever you were covering? What was your favorite sporting event that you covered?
I would say the Super Bowl in 1988.
Was it?
Yeah. I mean, I went there on the EBN dime. I got 2 other tickets from Kim Wood, who was a strength coach from my buddies. And, that I still sit and watch the replay of that game thinking the Bengals are going to win. Because we dominated the game, even though the field was a muddy mess. Tim Krumrie went down.
Yep.
Stanley Wilson had that cocaine problem the night before.
Yeah.
It just, and we outplayed those guys. But, when you got to give the football to Joe Montana with 2 minutes left, that ain't looking good.
No.
And that team, 1988 team, people still love those guys, and a lot of them still live here. I mean, a ton of those guys. I talk to David Fulcher like once a week, and Tim Breach lives here. Barney Bussey, Kozerski is the coach at Holy Cross High School, football coach.
Yeah.
Joe Walter, Max Montoya, a few other guys.
Dave
But
Lapham?
that team.
Oh no, he was the earlier years.
Who was that?
Dave Lapham.
Yes.
Yeah.
If that team won the Super Bowl, guys, they would have never had to buy a drink or dinner in this town ever again.
Hey, and one guy that I've talked to, and I actually broadcast for Wildman, is Icky Woods on his women's.
Oh yeah.
I did broadcast for him, and I'll tell you what, he's another one of those guys that everywhere we went, man, everybody knew who he was, and they loved him.
Everybody loves Ixter. They love him. Yeah. He came out to the Billboard in Marion. Came out there when I was out there.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah. Brought some stuff out, for his foundation and sold all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, he's a good dude. So was there any, besides Pete Rose, is there any favorite Cincinnati athlete besides Pete Rose that you covered or liked? Or
are you saying Cincinnati athlete or just athlete in general?
Cincinnati athlete.
Cincinnati athlete?
Yeah.
Never had that question posed to me. You got me stumped there.
So it's
maybe it's
basically just
another Red, or maybe Don Biggs, or.
Well, I would say Paul Lawless. So the Clones.
Okay.
There you
Paul
go.
Lawless. He was the first Cyclones to have his number retired.
Right.
Number 13. He lives in Scottsdale, Arizona. I talk to Paul about every 2 months, just see what he's doing. He plays golf for a living, and I don't know what he does, but he's got plenty of money.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
yeah.
good.
So I still talk to Paul.
Did you have any interaction with Huggins at all?
Oh yeah. I mean, when Huggins was in town, Dan, about 3 years ago, when they played NKU, and I went over with the very first media guide that Huggins was on, and I got Huggins to sign it. And Huggins says, "See, I told you I was a good-looking guy." And he saw me, and he said, "How you doing, man?" He gave me a big old bear hug. Hugs was the best, man.
Yeah.
He is the best.
Yep.
Nancy Zimfer, what never mind. Don't get me started.
Her and Dick Wagner.
Yeah, right up there with Dick Wagner, exactly. Yeah, Hugs was the best, man. He really was.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Hugs.
I think everybody does love Hugs. And, well, I don't know if you know that our buddy here, Steve, is kicking some butt at UC Claremont at coaching basketball. He was coach of the year.
No kidding.
Yes,
Look
sir.
at you.
Yes, sir.
Now, isn't West Claremont combined now?
No, this ain't West Claremont. This is UC Claremont.
Oh, UC Claremont. Okay.
Yeah.
The college, yeah.
Where you guys play at?
So we have a gym out there in Claremont and Batavia.
Okay.
Yep.
You're gonna have to come make an appearance and bring your book, and you can have a signing.
And who does this PA?
His brother.
That's funny.
Brother.
There you go.
Yeah,
If we need somebody, I know who to call, though.
Greg was the one that broadcast with me. He does the PA for Steve. That's
Okay. All righty.
Yeah.
So, but no, man. Wow, Steve, this has been awesome, and it just catching up and talking.
I mean, we could make this. We could talk for 2 hours about all that.
Hey, so Steve and I we're working on trying to do a weekly or a sports podcast. We should call into you and get you to come in and join our sports podcast and talk Cincinnati sports every week.
I could do that, not every week, but I could do it, and I'd be willing to do it. Yeah.
We would love it. If we get that thing rolling, we would love for you to do it, and we really appreciate you taking the time. Wow, man, we really do.
How about my boy Joe Burrow, huh? You think they hit the nail on the head? He's Greg Cook reincarnated. Greg Cook reincarnated.
He's awesome.
Got to keep him upright.
Yes, got to keep him upright, and I think they will. They'll get out there and get some more linemen for him. But that guy, he says, you can see it, man. When I saw him in those championship games, the two playoff games, I knew he was a winner, man, all the way.
Yeah,
absolutely. You know what I think?
We found a good one there.
We did. Well, man, I think what we need you to end, like Steve, that we kind of talked about this. We think we need you to end with how you used to always end your show. We need you to say that.
Oh, yeah. Like P. Rose forever, Dick Wagner never.
Yes, sir. That's awesome. Well, man, we really, really appreciate it. We're going to have this on our podcast. I'm sure a lot of people are going to look forward to seeing this, and I'll send it to you, either through, on through text message or on Facebook. I think we're friends on Facebook, so you'll see it there too. But man, it's been awesome catching up with you. Real appreciate it. Hopefully we'll keep in touch. I'm glad you guys called me. Glad to be part of it. And just let me know what kind of reaction you get. I definitely will, Wild Man. We really appreciate it. And all right, hey,
good job, Wild Man.
Have fun in Vegas.
All right, thanks. I hope to win big. I'll be playing 14 on the roulette wheel.
You betcha.
Sir. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up here. So for you've been watching This Week in Anderson. So for Steve Ellis, Wildman Walker, Dan Albers.
Hooray!